Good morning. Buenos dias, mi gente. Before we get started, we want to invite our Spanish-speaking neighbors to join us by calling our interpretation line. The phone for that line is 646-749-3122. You can also see it on the screen, and it's going to be in our comments in just a second as well. Let me share that in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking folks. Antes de comenzar, invitamos a nuestros vecinos de habla español a unirse a nosotros llamando a nuestra línea de interpretación. El número aparece en la pantalla, que es 646-749. Parece que 646-749-3122. When you call the line, you have to share a code, and it's there, 779-328-221. Cuando llaman al teléfono y le recogen, tiene que compartir un código, y es 779-328-221. Welcome to Fall 22 General Election. We welcome our neighbors and our followers, and especially all our Forum superfans, which we haven't seen you for a while. I got to see some of you at some recent events, and that was really inspiring to see you in person and exciting. My name is Tammy Rivera. I'm the executive director and the lead organizer here at SOC. I want to share the purpose of the Vote-A-Thon with you. We're going to be with you all today for this fall general election. Our intention is to share critical voting information and keep you keep connected with you on this important day. Excuse me. We've been trying to connect with you in all kinds of ways, our Southside neighbors. We've been doing that through door-to-door visits, phone calling, and text. Our goal is to make 25,000 attempts to reach our neighbors. And the reason that this is an important number is because we have about 25,000 households on the South Side. When we've contacted you in our visits and our phone calls, it has been for three different purposes. The first and foremost is just to do a care call to ask you, is there any information or resources you need? And then we'll ask you, is there anything that you need to know or have help with about voting? And then we've also been distributing information and resources around the COVID, like giving you masks and sanitizers and door pulls, etc. Listen, just like you all, I've been bombarded with all kinds of contacts, phone, email, text, all day, every day. That has been for political reasons, the car warranties, scam calls, wanting to purchase your home calls. And so I feel your frustration, and I'm sorry about the overload. But we hope that our contacts have been helpful to you. And we understand, too, that sometimes you were frustrated even with us because it was just another text, another call. We're just trying to help. We tried to keep ours short, and then we try always to provide incentives to honor your time. If you're with us today, I can't see you. We can't see you unless you comment on and say a hello. So if you're with us today, would you please drop a hello, and so we can say hi to you? If you've already voted, would you please share the number of voter you were at your polling site? That would be interesting for us to see as well. And then throughout the day, we want you to feel welcome, to ask any questions. And we hope that you're going to take advantage of all the opportunities we're going to give you today, inviting you to join us and collaborate with us. For those of you who are not familiar with SOC, let me share our mission. We're a neighborhood-based organization, and we're dedicated to the development and the sustainability of Milwaukee's near South Side. So we're geographic. Grassroots Organizing Institute. It's a matter of fact, we're approaching our 33rd year of serving you. We're the longest standing Grassroots Organizing Institute on Milwaukee South Side. I see we have a hello. Hola, Maria Amador Rodriguez. Hola. Stacy was number 3 at her polling place. Way to go, Stacy. Bright and early. And we work with you. That's grassroots organizing. And for you, we do advocacy on your behalf as well. In order for all of us to have a safe, a livable, and economically vibrant community. We're committed to ensuring that you have a voice, a vote, and that you have a vehicle to work together on issues that impact you and to make positive changes. So let me share like how the day is going to go. Every time we come back with you on a segment, we're going to introduce a promotion that you can collaborate with us to enter drawings for gift cards that are going to be pulled tomorrow and shared on Facebook Live. And so there are 7 opportunities today for you all to enter drawings for a total of $275, which can come in really handy for just meeting our needs. But imagine just having that extra holiday spending money as well. And so we're going to share a promotion at the beginning of every round that we're talking about topics. And then we're going to bring on one of our expert civic collaborators. They're going to provide really critical information for you to know about voting today and resources, and we can all answer any questions you have. So throughout the day, we're going to be with you. This is the first hour. So I got to remember to talk slower because Miranda, shout out to Miranda, our interpreter on the interpretation line, who'll be with us all day as well. And so I forget that I have to talk a little slower for her to catch up with interpretation. Sorry, Miranda, I'll try to be mindful. So we're with you here at 8, and then we're going to be with you at 10 and 12. You don't want to miss the 10 and 12 because our youth are hosting. And that's my favorite thing in the world here. And then I'll be back at 2, 4, and 6 with you as well. So here goes our first promotion. And Miranda says, thanks for slowing down. I'm so guilty of talking fast. Before we get started on today's voting information, we want to invite you to partner with us to determine SOC's focus for the next couple of years. And so I'm getting ready with the staff and the board to develop a plan for 2023 through 2026. And the way we work is we focus on the issues that are most important to our Southside residents. And so one of the ways that you'll be able to tell us what your priorities are post-pandemic too, right? Because the pandemic really challenged us to think about what was important to us, what our priorities were. And so we want to make sure we check in with you after the pandemic to see what your priorities are. We don't want to make any assumptions. And we'll design our work based on what you tell us. And so one of the ways we gather information is to do surveys. So in just a second, I'm going to share the post-pandemic survey and want to remind you, if you get that done by the end of midnight today, you'll be entered into a drawing for a $50 gift card. It'll be shared. The winner will be shared tomorrow on our Facebook Live. So you'll have to come back to Facebook Live. So I'm going to ask, Jinx is our producer today. Bravo for her. She did an excellent job of preparing us technically to get all this day ready. And then I'm going to ask her to pull up the post-pandemic survey. Throughout today, we're going to have opportunities for you to engage with us. And so let me review the order. We're going to be sharing an opportunity and then interviewing a guest that is going to bring critical information and resources about the election today for you. And so it'll go an opportunity, an interview, opportunity, interview, opportunity, interview 4 times. And so the first one, and all of those opportunities are either surveys or invitations to register for an opportunity to get you engaged with the work that we do for you. And every opportunity that you engage in is going to enter you into a drawing for a $50 gift card. And that's only good today. So any surveys or registrations have to be completed today, Tuesday, November 8th. And then we'll do the drawing live on Facebook for each of those tomorrow. So we want to make sure that you dig in and get them in before midnight tonight. When I share the opportunity and explain it, you're going to see a slide that will show you a link and a QR code. We're also going to put the link and QR code in the comments. And so if you click on the link, it'll take you directly to the survey or the registration. And if you want to use a QR code, you take your camera and you place it over the QR code, and then it pops up. The QR code is a little square with a bunch of symbols, designs in it. And if you wait, it'll pop up a link, and like a button, a yellow button with a link. And if you press that, it takes you to the survey as well. So those are all different kinds of ways that you can fill those out. Sometimes you want to take a picture of the QR code because you can't do the survey right away. And you want to save it for later. So your options on however is most comfortable for you. So our first survey, we're embarking right now, we're starting on developing SOC's plan for the next couple of years. But it's super important that you let us know what's important to you, especially after the pandemic. We all know the pandemic made us really think hard about what's important to us and how we want to live. And so we don't want to assume life is the same as it was before the pandemic. And so we want to check in with you now on what are your top dreams? What are you and your family's top needs? We have a series of different community areas of action and service, and you'll be ranking those like, this is somewhat important to me, not important to me, important to me, or very important to me. And really, that's going to guide where SOC puts its energy for the next couple of years for our neighbors who live with us on the South Side. So we invite you to fill out that survey. None of the surveys or registrations are long. They take less than 5 minutes. And so it shouldn't take a big sacrifice of time, but it does have a big impact. And so the post-pandemic survey, we'll put the slide up now. You'll see the link and you can start the survey now, or you can save the link and do it a little later. You'll see the QR code. And like I said, you can use that or save that to do that a little later. So we appreciate you in advance. We honor your time. That's why we're doing the drawing. And imagine if you did all the surveys today, you'd be entered into the first 4. So that's up to $200 opportunity to win. And it's right before the holiday, folks. So I know you could use some extra money. And then the last one is to like us on our social media platforms, and you can win a drawing for $25 for each of those. So please cooperate, and we want to be able to serve you as you see fit. Thank you. Okay, I hope you take advantage of that survey, and I want to clarify what are our district boundaries. So our boundaries are on the east, 1st Street, or a couple of blocks east of that, all the way to Miller Parkway on the west. On the north, it's Pierce Street, and on the south, it's Oklahoma. So if you live in that district, that SOC's district, and you qualify to take advantage of these opportunities that we're sharing. Okay, let's get into some voting information for you. The polls are open today. They opened at 7 and they'll be open till 8. It only takes at most 30 minutes to vote. Literally, it's taken me in the past like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, um, because there usually aren't a lot of people at the polls at different times. And if you're in line by 8, they must allow you to vote. If you have any problems voting, please call the ACLU voter hotline. For English speakers, that's 1-866 our vote, 1-866 our vote. For Spanish speakers, it's 1-888 VI vota, VEI vota. And so please, know your rights and demand them. We see that Clarissa is with us today. Clarissa is our inaugural staff alumni president. And she says, vote. Good morning, everyone. Hola, Clary. If you're with us, please drop a note in the comments and we'll say hi. All right. What I'd like to share next, I'm going to attempt this now. I'm not the greatest at these things, so have a little patience with me. I want to share the central website for voting information, which is myvote.wi.gov. So voy a intentar. I'm going to try right now. So I'm going to press share my screen. And then I am going to share. And then if I could have the staff confirm in our text thread that you can see that I am on the myvotewisconsin.gov, that would be a great help to me. If somebody could say that. Let me know, folks, if you can see it. All right, we're on. Okay, this is Central Station for all your voting needs. It's My Vote. Here, you can get your voter information. You can search for your voting record. View a list of elections you voted in. Check your current registration. Update your name and address. Request an absentee ballot. Find your election officials. Track your absentee ballot. And of course, this has personal information, so I can't fill that out and share with you all. But just so you know, it's your first name, last name, and date of birth. You can find your polling place. This is super important because the census, as a result of the census, some districts change, which means some of your polling places have changed. And so here I'll put SOC's address in there. We're not open to the public yet, but we hope to be soon. So let's see. If we lived in our office, where our voting location would be. It just asks for your address, the city, the zip code, search. And here it tells us if I lived in my office, Durfler School would be my polling place. And it gives you the address, it gives you a little map. And so that's super important information for you to have. And it's really easy to double check if you haven't voted since the census. Now, we had a spring election and you probably voted and found your location then. But if you haven't, check here. And you can check what's on your ballot. So we're going to use the SOC address again. And let's see who and what is on our ballot. Super important things today. Please, if there was a time you were going to sit out the election, don't let it be today. You have all day until 8 o'clock. So we have the governor and lieutenant governor's race, the attorney general, the secretary of state, the treasurer. We have, at least for this address, the senator, Congress persons, other senators, state assembly, the sheriff, the clerk of court. And then the other two things that'll be of really important interest to you is we have two referendums. Referendums are elected officials asking us our opinions about topics. And so it's super important for you to weigh in on these two things. One referendum today is the Milwaukee County firearms referendum, and this is how it reads. Should the Wisconsin legislature prohibit the import, sale, manufacture, transfer, or possession of semi-automatic military-style firearms whose prohibition is allowed under the Wisconsin and United States Constitution? So you got to weigh in on that issue to let our elected officials know how we feel about that. The other one is the Milwaukee County marijuana referendum. Do you favor allowing adults 20 years of age and older to engage in the personal use of marijuana, while also regulating commercial marijuana-related activities and imposing a tax on the sale of marijuana? So two important referendums and really important elections. So then you get a sense, if you put your address in, of what's on your ballot. You can update your name and address here. I won't spend a lot of time on that. If you've not registered to vote, you can register to vote here. And then Jonathan from the Milwaukee Election Commission, his interview will be talking about how to register to vote today during the election. And then many of you practice voting absentee ballot during the pandemic, and that option is still available for you before elections. And Jonathan will talk about that, where that is right now as it is election day. You can track your ballot, where it is in the process. And you can vote absentee in person. So if you got your ballot and you're still going to vote, it'll tell you where to go, where you can drop those off. All right, so we wanted to make sure that you were familiar with that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And we're going to move on to the next segment. Here's where our promotions and the interviews are going to start. And so the next promotion we want you to participate in is our 30+2 NU promo. During the pandemic was our 30th anniversary, and many of you experienced milestones in your life that you weren't able to celebrate, and we weren't able to celebrate. And so we're at the end of our 32nd year, entering our 33rd year of service. And so instead of celebrating with the traditional, ball or retro ball, we decided to launch the 30+2 NU promo. What is that? We're going to have that promo in just a second. And then it's going to be followed by an interview with the Milwaukee Election Commission. So go ahead and share that. By the way, I'm not a magician. I cannot boom, I'm here, and boom, you see me at home. I pre-recorded those so that they could be run during the youth hosted session, and so that we would not have to lose our voice today. So what you're seeing is my office and at work, and then in what Jinx is going to show now is you're going to see my office at work. Go ahead, Jinx, and share that. All right, folks, we're ready for our second opportunity for you to engage with us. You earlier, if you were with us earlier, you heard about our survey regarding the post-pandemic survey, asking you what your dreams and needs are as we set our plans for the next couple of years. And if you're just joining us now, you can go back in the comments for the forum, and you should be able to see the link and the QR code for that. If not, I'm also going to ask the folks who are on comments to put the post-pandemic title in the comment, post-pandemic survey, put the link for the post-pandemic survey and the QR code again while we move on to the next opportunity. We, like many of you, were not able to celebrate milestones during the pandemic. And during the pandemic, SOC turned 30. Well, 30 years of service during the pandemic. And now it's been a couple of years. So we're ending our 30 plus 2 more years, our 32nd anniversary. SOC happens to be the longest serving grassroots organizing institute on the South Side. And we're very proud of that legacy. But we feel the responsibility to continue our mission even more in these times. And so because we weren't able to celebrate, we launched a campaign this year to celebrate our anniversary with an engagement opportunity. So the campaign is called 30+2 with you. And what we're doing is recruiting Block ambassadors. The Block ambassadors are going to make sure that the people just on their block know of information, resources, and action opportunities by going door to door and distributing materials when there are big things happening or a new housing resource comes out, when we have our major events, when we do cleanups. And so if you're willing to be an ambassador for your block and just give out information to your neighbors, leaving it at their door, and also if you're willing to just listen to and pay attention to what your neighbors are needing. For instance, they might say, we always have problems with the city not cleaning our street, or we don't get our recycling picked up on time, or we're concerned about the crime in this area, or we heard there's a promotion to get, cameras, Ring cameras, etc. Then the ambassador communicates that on behalf of their neighbors to SOC, and we can all work together to address our dreams and our needs. And so we have a registration, and you'll see a link to the registration and a QR code. And again, I'll be repeating this all day because I know I had troubles the first time I learned how to use a QR code. It's a little square that has all kinds of little black and white designs on it. And if you pull up your camera to it, it'll pop up like a yellow button, a link, and you can click on it and it takes you to wherever the address of that link is. So you'll be able to fill out the registration there. And I want to remind you that we have 4 of these opportunities throughout the day, and it has to be completed today. And if you complete it today, you'll be entered to win a $50 gift card. And you have 4 opportunities to do that today, which is $200. And then at the end of the forum, you'll be asked to engage with us on social media, and we are doing drawings for a $25 gift card if you do those things later today. And so altogether, it's $275 of gift cards we're giving out today. And I'm sure you would really appreciate a little help for life today or some holiday spending monies. So please do fill that out, and we'll be in contact with you. The 30+2 NU has also benefits. Any major event or activity we do, those people who've been faithfully serving as ambassadors will be able to attend many of our events for free. And so we'll be meeting once a quarter in person. We'll be meeting monthly, virtually. And then we have our conference and our Legacy Retro Ball, and you'll get free entrance into that if you were faithful with your ambassador role. So it's a give and get situation we invite you to join us in. So that slide is going to come up, and please do that right away. None of our engagement opportunities take more than 5 minutes today. So you can do that immediately, or you can save those things and make sure you get them in by midnight today.
All right, hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Jinx, and I am a program assistant here at Southside Organizing Center, also called SOC. Today's guest is the Elections Operations and Training Manager of the Milwaukee Elections Commission, Jonathan Zuniga. Welcome, Jonathan. Please introduce yourself and let our neighbors know what your role as Elections Operations and Training Manager is.
Thank you, Jinx. Yeah, my name is Jonathan Zuniga. I work at the Election Commission, and I oversee all of the election day voting, so all 180 polling locations, poll workers, and their training, the supplies and equipment that goes all out to the sites, and to make today's election happen.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that. And so going into voting, can you go into details about absentee voting, like how that goes on and what the process would look like?
Well, today, if anyone still has their absentee ballot at home, they request it, and you are not sure what to do with it, you really have two options. If you have voted your ballot, get a witness to sign your envelope, and you can return that absentee ballot to our central count location, the Wisconsin Center, on Bell Phillips and Wisconsin Avenue. If you don't want to return the absentee ballot, okay, you can go to your regular polling site and vote as a regular voter there. So just make sure to take your photo ID, and before heading out, go to myvote.wi.gov to make sure you are going to the correct polling location.
All right, perfect. Thank you for that information. And for the address, we'll put those in the comments as well. And is there anything you'd like to add about voter identification or voter registration? Anything the community should know about there?
Well, one, if you are already a registered voter, like I mentioned before, please make sure that before you head out to the polls, you check that you are going to your designated polling site. So just go to myvote.wi.gov. Just to double check, there's been redistricting and some of the wards and polling places change. So it's always good to double check before heading out. And then two, if you are already a registered voter, make sure to take your photo ID. And that can be most commonly your Wisconsin ID or driver's license. But if you lost that, or if you don't have one, you can also use your passport, a Wisconsin college ID. You can use, if you're in the military, your military ID or veterans ID, a Wisconsin tribe ID. So there's a couple of other options that you can use as well. But make sure you take that form of acceptable photo ID. And if you moved within, in the last, since the last time you voted, if you legally change your name and you want to register, or you're just turning 18 and you are a new voter, today in Wisconsin, you can register today on election day at your designated polling place. So again, just make sure you go to your correct polling place, take your photo ID, and take a proof of residence document. So that could be, again, your Wisconsin driver's license or ID with your address, with your current address. But your proof of residence can be also a WeEnergy's bill, bank or credit card statement. It could be a paycheck stub, or any letter of any government agency, whether it's Social Security, Medicare, any government department at the city, county, or federal level that has your name and your current address. You can also use that as a proof of residence document.
All right, perfect. Very helpful. And then if people have any further questions, is there a resource or a place that they can go to find more information?
Yes, you can, again, myvote.wi.gov. You can check your polling place. You can see what's on the ballot. You can also just check your registration status if you're not sure if you're registered at your current address. If you want to talk to someone, give us a call, 414-286-3491. And we have English and Spanish speakers here staffing those phone calls and can answer your questions and provide any assistance that people may need.
All right. Well, thank you for the great information. That, of course, helps our neighbors have the resources to stay in the loop and make informed decisions. We at SOC appreciate everyone watching this, and we want to thank you, Jonathan, for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, everybody have a good night. I hope everyone who is eligible to vote remembers to vote. And have a good night.
Thank you, Jinx. You did a great job interviewing Jonathan from the Milwaukee Election Commission. Shout out, let's see who has registered for our 30+2 and you team. Glady. Glady is a faithful community soldier. Thank you, Glady, our inaugural staff alumni president, who has registered to be an ambassador for her block. Super easy lift for you all to get engaged. All right, we're going to move on to another engagement opportunity for you all. We are putting together our 2023 Strategic Action Session, our SAS team. And so we invite you to join that group. We'll be meeting once a month, virtually and in person, whatever is comfortable for you all, to tackle whatever the current issues are. And we've done that recently with the affordable housing crisis. We've done it in the past with hate crimes, with law enforcement reform, immigration reform. So we pick the topics you say are important, and we have our neighbors talk about what the problems are and what they would do to solve them. And then they decide together what action they want to take on that, whether they want to talk to elected officials or talk to community members or demand changes in laws or policies or practices or budget allocations, etc. And so we invite you to join that. As funds allow, we stipend those participants. So we let everyone apply, and then we want to select a team of about 12. So get your registration in soon. And so I'm going to share about that in a video now. So Jinx, go ahead, roll into that. And then after that, our next interview will be with Anita Johnson, Outreach and Training Coordinator with Souls to the Polls, on how to get rides to your polling location. All right, folks, we're on our third opportunity during the Vote-A-Thon for you to engage with us. And what's great about those opportunities is every time you engage in one of them, you complete that task, you'll be entered to win a $50 gift card, for a drawing to win a $50 gift card. And there are 4 surveys or engagement opportunities that there are $50 gift cards. And then at the end, we have 3 social media platforms we invite you to follow us on, and that could enter you to, that enters you into to win $25 gift cards for each of those. And so this next one, we talked earlier about the post-pandemic survey. And so I'll ask the folks who are putting the comments to please put the link to the post-pandemic survey and QR code up in the comments. So if you missed that earlier, that's asking you what your dreams and needs are now as we set the plans for SOC for the next couple of years. And then at the last forum update, we shared that you can sign up to be an ambassador for our 32 Plus You campaign, where you agree to be the ambassador for your block, sharing information, dropping off flyers, etc. on your block, doing a cleanup for your block once a year, listening to your neighbors and their concerns and relaying those to SOC. That'll include a monthly meeting, a quarterly in-person event, and free entrance into all of our major activities like our conference and our retro ball if you've executed your ambassador role successfully for the period of time. And so right now what we're doing is all next year in 2023, we are putting together a SOC strategic action session, a group of folks from across the Southside District to come together to address whatever issues are super important that come from that survey and other needs that arise in the community. For instance, this year we did a round of SAS, the SOC strategic action sessions around the affordable housing crisis. And so we invite you to participate. We're recruiting 12 folks. So if you apply, we hope that we will be able to put together a solid group who are committed to meeting once a month. And usually what happens is we ask folks, what do you think about this problem? What's causing this problem? And then what are your solutions to the problem? Because we believe the people who have lived the experience are in the best position to identify what the real problems are and what the solutions are. And then once we do a round of voice for our neighbors, then we add, well, this is some data that has been published around or shared around this issue. And this is some information from subject matter experts. And then you all will review your answers in light of that data and that information from the subject matter experts. And then we finalize recommendations and we work as a group to take any action that the group is interested in taking together. If you're part of that group, you will get a $50 stipend every time you complete a session throughout the year. And so that's up to $600 in a year. Why? Because professionals get paid. We all get paid for doing our work, and we value your time as well. And so we want to make sure that while you're deciding how to meet your family's needs, that you don't eliminate coming to the action sessions because you have to meet, how do you pay rent, and how do you purchase food, and how do you look for a new job, and how do you take care of your household and work with and do homework with your kids and take care of them, that it has a benefit for coming that will bless you and or your family. And so please fill out the SAS registration form. It only takes a couple of minutes. You'll see a link shared on a slide in a couple of seconds with a QR code. And again, I'm explaining what the QR codes are over and over today, every round that we do, just in case we have new people who joined us. So it's a little square that has all these designs in it. And you take your camera and you put it on photo and you put it over the QR code. And then in the picture of your, on the screen on your camera, it'll pop up a little yellow button that is the link to the survey. So you can click on the link in the comments bar. You can copy the link that appears on the screen, or you can go to it with the QR code. And again, if you do that, you'll be entered into a drawing to win $50. You have to do it today before the end of the day, by midnight. And then we're going to do the drawing tomorrow on Facebook Live. So pay attention and join us on Facebook to see if you were the person who won any of the drawings that we've done today. So go ahead and do that now, and we'll pull up the slide for you. All right, folks, we're going to go into our next interview. Again, that's with Anita Johnson. She's the Outreach and Training Coordinator for Souls to the Polls, and she's going to be discussing how you can get rides to your polling location.
All right, hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Jinx, and I am a program assistant here at Southside Organizing Center, also called SOC. Today's guest is Anita Johnson from Souls to the Polls. Welcome, Anita. Please introduce yourself and let our neighbors know what your role is at Souls to the Polls.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this interview. I am Anita Johnson. I work with Souls to the Polls. I am their outreach and training coordinator. I have been with Souls to the Polls since its inception. So I've been through a lot of different elections. And I'm very excited about this one and hoping that we can get more and more people out to vote, which is a challenge. But, that's life. So we're going to do our best to make sure people get to the polls to vote.
All right, definitely. We appreciate all the work because it can be a challenge. So now let me get into some questions so people get to know what Souls to the Polls is. What resources does Souls to the Polls, what are they focusing on for the general fall elections that are coming up?
Well, usually we want everybody to get to the polls to vote, but we usually focus on the churches. And we go into the churches and we educate the parishioners in the churches about any changes in the voting laws that would affect them when they go to the polls to vote, so they know what is expected of them when they get to the polls to vote. We also offer rides to the polls for those who don't have a car or they're handicapped, we offer rides to the polls to help people get to the polls. But my thing is the training to make sure people know what's expected of them when they vote. And that's with the absentee ballots and when you go to the polls to vote.
Mhm. Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, it's very important to get educated on, how to vote and what you're voting for and how to do it.
Right.
All right. And then is there any additional resources that are available for people when they get in contact with someone from Souls to the Polls?
Sure, you know what? People can always call me, and I don't mind putting my number out there. I'm at 414-899-3386. So if anybody has any questions about voter registration, absentee ballots, what to expect when they get to the polls to vote, or photo ID, I will do my best to answer those questions. And if I don't know the answer, I will find out the correct answer and get back to you. We also offer rides to the polls for early vote, but we will not be starting the early ride program until October 31st. And this is the telephone number you can call, 414-742-1060. Early vote starts today, October 25th until November 5th. And we also are offering rides on November 8th.
All right, awesome. All right. Very, very essential. Yes, very important.
If you have any other questions or you want to go to our website, that's www.soulstothepolls.wisconsin.org.
All right. And then do you think you could spell that? There's a few variations of souls to souls, the word. Is it
Okay,
S?
it is souls, SOULS, to the POLLS.WI.org.
All right.
And it's a plethora of information there as well. But I'm always happy to answer any questions that anybody might have about voting.
All right, perfect. Thank you for being a resource to the people. We all appreciate your work very much. And
Thank
is there
you.
any additional information you'd like to give to the public? Any reminders?
If you're going to register to vote at the polls, make sure you bring proof of residence. You must live in your residence for 28 days. If you have not lived in your residence for 28 days, go back to your old polling site and vote. But please change your address. You can go to www.myvote.wi, and you can change your address. You can find out where your polling site is if you're unsure of that. So if you're going to register at the polls, make sure you bring proof of residence, and that can be a bill, a lease, a bank statement. Make sure you take your ID to the poll, and that can be a Wisconsin driver's license, state ID, a passport, Indian card, a veteran's card. There's a plethora of things that you can take as photo IDs when you go to the polls to vote.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for that information. Again, very helpful, very useful. It can be a whole task to vote if you don't have the right information. So we're glad there's, people like you and Souls to the Polls to help out. And all right, that concludes today's questionnaire interview. We appreciate you having been with us today, Anita. I hope you and everyone watching this has a good night, and everyone that's eligible remembers to vote. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Great job again, Jinx, and thank you, Anita, for being with us. I also want to give a shout out to our other staff team member, Stacy, who is doing the comments and doing a great job to keep you attached to all the links, whether that's a website or a phone number or a link to our opportunities today, our promotion opportunities. I want to remind you that we are here for you, and a way that you can stay connected is to follow us on social media. So we'll share our promo on social media. All right, folks, our Vote-A-Thon for the fall 2020 general election, is coming to an end. Thank you for spending your day with us. We have hopes that the information and resources and the questions we answered for you today helped you to vote today. Your vote is your voice, and we want to make sure everyone on the South Side has an opportunity to express their voice through their vote. And as you've heard me say many a times, if the South Side votes, we have a huge impact in elections here in the city and the county especially, and even on the state level and the federal level, of course, when those opportunities come up. Our last engagement opportunity is here now. And so I want to review the different opportunities we've had through the day and ask you, if you didn't get a chance to do them, you want to do them. Why? One, it either is lifting your voice or giving you an opportunity to impact your life and your community in collaboration with us. The other reason is because every time you fill out a survey or you're willing to serve or get involved and fill out a registration, you're entered into a drawing for a $50 gift card, which will come in really handy for either your family's needs right now or for extra holiday shopping money as we enter the holiday season. I'm sorry for those of you who have to hear this for the 5th time today, but in case people are joining us for the first time, I want to share that a QR code is a little box with a design in it. And if you take your camera and put it up against the QR code, it'll pop up oval. In mine, it's yellow. I'm assuming it's yellow for everyone else, but I don't know. It'll pop up a little oval button, and if you press it, it takes you to the survey. And so you can use the link. You can write the link on the slide that's going to pop up. You can click the link in the comments, or you can use a QR code. And if it's all happening a little too fast for you, we'll be posting this video up on our Facebook site, and you'll be able to go back to it. And or you can take pictures of it, the QR codes, and do them later as well. And so this last opportunity is really 3 opportunities in one. We want to stay connected with you, so we're asking you to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn. For each one of those that you follow, you'll be entered into a drawing for $25. So what we'll do is, at the end of today, you got to do all of this work, but I'm telling you, every one of those is really short. You'll do that today by midnight, and then tomorrow we're going to post all the winners on our Facebook Live, so you'll want to pay attention to that. So what we'll do is we'll see who followed us new on Facebook, who followed us new on Instagram, who followed us on LinkedIn, connected on LinkedIn. And from those people, we'll make a drawing and then pull names. So go ahead and do that. That's a really quick win. That's even easier than filling out a short survey or a short registration. And so we invite you for all of those opportunities. If you entered all of them, now don't register if you really don't want to do an activity. But if you're interested in doing that, we really do invite you. The surveys, please do. We have the post-pandemic survey, the 30+2 and you opportunity. If you're willing to serve as a Block ambassador, think about that and join us if you're really interested. And then our SOC strategic action session group, that's going to meet once a month, and we invite you to join that. And then fill out the forum survey, because we want to know what's working for you on these forums and what we need to change to better serve you. And then we want you to follow us on social media. So that's an opportunity altogether for $275 in gift cards for you to win. So please do engage in those. And we hope that we served you well today during this election day, and that you voted to have your voice heard, and that you stay connected with us to continue to make sure that you're represented in all that happens in our community. Thank you and have a blessed evening. Folks, we reversed the videos we were showing, so stay with us just a little bit longer. We're going to move into our next interview and then share the forum survey promo. And then for the next segment, we'll get it straight. As you can see, there's tons of work that goes into doing a vote-a-thon. And if we switch one of the slides incorrectly and put our ending slide first, no big deal. And we'll truck on. All right, the next interview is with Nick Ramos. He is a voter ID coalition coordinator with VoteRiders. And he's going to talk about how you can get help from beginning to end at no charge to get a voter ID.
All right, hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Jinx, and I am a program assistant here at Southside Organizing Center, also called SOC. Today's guest is Nick from VoteRiders. Welcome, Nick. Please introduce yourself and let our neighbors know what your role with VoteRiders is.
Well, thank you, Jinx. My name is Nick Ramos. I am the Wisconsin Voter ID Coalition Coordinator with VoteRiders. And so with that position, I run the organization statewide, and we help people get vital documents like IDs, birth certificates, and social security cards.
All right, awesome. So with general elections coming up on November 8th, do you think you could go into a little bit more of what VoteRiders does for the community?
Absolutely. So in my role, I work with a variety of partners across the entire state that do really good work within the communities that they live and that they serve in. And we try and identify those individuals who may lack a valid issued government ID or the vital documents that one would need to be able to acquire that ID. And in Wisconsin, typically, that would be a birth certificate or a social security card. And so what we constantly try and do is we try and get information out to those communities and let them know that there's this free resource. VoteRiders pays for the documents that one would need to be able to get an ID. So if you needed a birth certificate, we'll pay for it. If you need to get an ID, we'll pay for it. Social security cards are free, but a lot of times we have issues like trying to get people verified on the Social Security website. So what we'll do is we'll pay for the transportation one would need to go to the Social Security office that's close to them, and then be able to get that Social Security card. And so it's a lot of community events, a lot of programming around, neighborhoods across the state of Wisconsin to let people know so that they can not feel like there's a ton of barriers when it comes to like getting those documents.
Yeah, no, yeah, it can get pretty complicated for voting for the average person who, it's paperwork in places and you got to get the right timing. And so, no, yeah, it's a great resource to know. And then, so let's say someone does have to get, a birth certificate to vote. Where could they go or who could they get in contact with for that?
Absolutely. So if you have access to the internet, you can go on to our website, which is VoteRiders.org. If you have access to a phone, you can call our hotline, which is, you can call it 24 hours a day. And especially during election time, I'm almost positive right now that they're taking live phone calls. So that number is 844-338-8743. And then you can also email us. We have an email. It's info@voteriders.org. And then another thing I forgot to mention, on Facebook, we have a chat bot. So if you go and search VoteRiders, you can literally go onto our page, and then a chat bot will appear, and it'll ask if you want us to speak to you in English or in Spanish, and then if you need ID help, and then you'll get connected with a live, breathing human being that will work with you on acquiring whatever documents you need.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you for all that information. That's very, very vital, especially seeing as things somehow get complicated as the years go by for voting. But yeah, we'll plug in all those numbers in the comments as well. So yeah, thank you for all that information. Very good for the community to have. Is there any last reminders you want to give to the people?
Yeah, no, whenever you're seeing this, I encourage everybody, whether you decide you want to vote in this election or you decide you want to vote in a future election, to, come up with that plan. And, if you need help, like acquiring documents, or you just want information about polling location, registration, any of that stuff, you can contact VoteRiders. We're not married to any election. We want to help you acquire these documents, not only for voting, but also for jobs, for housing. So please, whether it's now or whether it's down the road, just know that you have an organization that will work with you wherever you're at in the process and help you get the documents you need.
All right, perfect. Thank you for all the information. And all right, well, we appreciate you for being here with us today, Nick. We hope you and everyone watching this has a good night. I hope everyone who is eligible remembers to vote and everyone goes out there and uses the resources that they have. All right, have a good day.
Hey, you too.
Gracias, Jinx and Nick, for that really important information and support for our neighbors. As I said earlier, we inverted our surveys or our engagement promos. And so we're going to go ahead and switch that out now. And we're going to ask you to be ready to fill out a survey giving us feedback on this Vote-A-Thon forum. And so there you'll be able to tell us what you like, what you don't, etc. Our next guest with us is Judith Sugorensky from League of Women Voters. She's a member there. And she's going to be talking about supporting the Latino IX vote, what a nonpartisan organization is and how it helps the community, and why it's important for the Latino IX community to vote. Before we put on that interview, do we have any new folks joining us today that we can say hello? Would you say a quick hello in the comments so we know that you're with us? And if you voted already, you can share what number voter you were. That would be really nice. All right, Jinx, go ahead and share that interview, and then we'll come back with folks.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Ana Rodriguez, the program manager here at SOC. Today we have a guest joining us from the League of Women Voters. Welcome, Judy. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Ana. My name is Judith Sugorensky Gomez. I'm a retired teacher of English as a second language, Spanish, and adult education. And I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of Milwaukee, and I work particularly at the Comité for el Voto Latino almost since its inception.
Thank you. And then, hola y gracias por acompañarnos hoy. Mi nombre es Ana Rodríguez, la gerente del programa aquí en SAC. Hoy tenemos una invitada que se une a nosotros de la Liga de Mujeres Votantes. Bienvenida, Judy. Preséntate, por favor.
Sí, muchas gracias. Sí, muchas gracias por su invitación. Buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Judith Chugurensky Gómez, soy profesora jubilada de español, inglés como segunda lengua y educación para adultos. Y vengo como representante del Comité por el Voto Latino de Milwaukee, que es parte de la Liga de Mujeres Votantes en Milwaukee.
Well, thank you so much for your introduction now. What does your organization do to support the Latino vote?
Okay, so we, the CBA, first of all, the CBA Comité por el Voto Latino was created by the League in the year 2017 in an effort to support the Spanish-speaking population on our civic right and responsibility to vote. We try to have all the information pertaining to voting both in Spanish and English. And that's it.
No, that's great to know, So, ¿qué servicios brinda la organización para apoyar el voto latino?
El Comité por el Voto Latino fue creado por la Liga en el año 2017 en un esfuerzo por apoyar a la población de habla hispana en nuestro derecho cívico y responsabilidad de votar. Tratamos de dar toda la información relacionada con la votación y las elecciones, tanto en español como en inglés. Okay, sorry.
No, that's it. Were you done or did you?
We do a lot of stuff. For example, we organize and participate in different events such as fairs and organized by the community, like the barrios, the churches, the schools, etc. And we concentrate particularly in the south side of Milwaukee, which is where the vast majority of the concentration of population of Spanish speakers is. And we try to help the people to register to vote. We distribute material containing information regarding how to register to vote, how to vote itself, about the elections, about the candidates. We try to distribute as much information as we can.
Well, that's great to know, for the community, especially in the south side of Milwaukee. So, ¿qué servicios brinda la organización para apoyar el voto latino?
Again, so what we do, so organizamos y participamos en diferentes eventos, tales como ferias organizadas con actividad, los barrios, las iglesias, las escuelas, y nos concentramos particularmente en el lado sur de Milwaukee, la zona sur, que es donde está la mayor concentración de población de habla hispana. Ayudamos a las personas a registrarse para votar, distribuimos material que contiene la información pertinente sobre el registro, cómo registrarse, cómo votar, las elecciones, los candidatos, etc.
Mira, qué bien, mucha buena información para saber, ¿verdad? Could you explain what it means for an organization to be nonpartisan and how that helps the community?
Sure. The idea of nonpartisan means we do not represent any party, not the Republicans, not the Democrats, we don't go for them nor against them. We just ask them questions and try to distribute the information of everybody so the voter can actually have a better understanding of who is there, no matter which candidate or which party they do. We do not represent any party.
Oh, okay. ¿Nos podrás explicar qué significa que una organización no sea partidista y cómo ayuda eso en la comunidad?
Sí, la liga no es partidista, lo que quiere decir es que no representamos a ningún partido político en nuestro trabajo de divulgación y educación. No representamos ni a los demócratas ni a los republicanos, solo compartimos información y ayuda a las personas a tomar su decisión sobre quién votar. Quisiera agregar que si bien la liga es una organización no partidista o apartidista, no somos apolíticos. O sea, sí participamos en la arena política, en la lucha por defender los derechos de las mujeres, de los inmigrantes, de los votantes en general, tanto en tribunales como en las respectivas legislaturas, por ejemplo.
Ah, okay. Qué bien, qué bien. So why is it important for Latinos to vote?
Well, it's as important as for anybody to vote. It's our right. It's our given right, and why not use that right to make our voices heard? Don't have a better place to make your voice heard than voting. And I would say, why miss that opportunity? You say, vote for whoever you think will represent you better, you and your interests. And the other way would be allowing others to vote for you, which means they'll do whatever they vote for whoever represents their interests and not necessarily your own. So I think it's very important.
Yeah, that is. So, ¿por qué es importante que los latinos voten?
Es importante para todos votar, es nuestro derecho, tenemos el derecho de votar y es la plataforma que tenemos para hacernos escuchar, para hacer escuchar nuestras voces, para hacer que se conozcan nuestros intereses, nuestras necesidades. Si no votamos, pues le permitimos a otros votar y defender en su voto sus propios derechos y no los nuestros, y darles la oportunidad de votar y no usar nosotros. Nuestra oportunidad es perder, ¿no? Es perder la mejor oportunidad que tenemos de hacernos escuchar, me parece.
No, qué bien sabe. And Judith, do you always have the information you need to vote for the candidates?
No, absolutely not always. There's no way, I have never met them. And it's so important because they're going to make such important decisions for us. So, what I do is try to find as much information as I can. In the case of the League, we have our Vote-A-Thon.org, which is a space where you can find information about all the candidates as much as we can. We ask the questions and they respond to those questions, and we translate those into Spanish so that everybody can read them and understand them.
Okay, and you said that was Vote 411?
Right. www.vote411.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then, y Judith, ¿siempre tienen ustedes la información que necesitan a votar para los candidatos?
Pues no, yo no conozco a ninguno, no sé quiénes son, y por lo tanto tengo que confiar en la información que me aparece o que puedo conseguir. En el caso de la Liga, tenemos el sitio web de www.vote411.org, que es donde nosotros publicamos la información que los candidatos nos dan. Se les hace preguntas, en general son 5 o 6 preguntas relevantes, y los candidatos tienen el derecho, o sea, responden a esas preguntas, algunos no. Quien respondió a las preguntas traducimos al español, y entonces está toda esa información en nuestro sitio web.
Mira, gracias por esa información, es muy importante saber eso, y como ven en la pantalla pusimos el vote411.org. Is there a contact information or that where people can maybe get a hold of someone at the League of Women Voters if they would like to volunteer or need any additional information?
Okay, so there is this website. We do have website. We are in Facebook. We are in Twitter. We are using the social media. So you can participate that way, or at least contact that way, and then try to find information. And I guess I don't know if everybody uses Facebook, but there is Twitter and Instagram, and I bet they'll find someone to be able to talk with any of those.
Oh, great. So no matter what way, we can get a hold of you guys at the League of Women Voters.
Yeah. There is even a site at our website that it says volunteers, so you can contact that way.
Oh, that's good to know. So,
Yeah.
¿hay alguna información de contacto o cómo pueden las personas contactarse con ustedes si tienen más información o gustaría ser voluntarios?
Sí, tenemos el sitio web, varios sitios web con el League of Women Voters of Milwaukee, Liga de Mujeres Votantes de Milwaukee, o Comité por el Voto Latino, también hay información. Pero en el sitio web tenemos, bueno, estamos en Facebook, se puede poner Liga de Mujeres Votantes de Milwaukee, y ahí aparece cómo ser voluntario, hay información, hay Facebook, hay Twitter, hay Instagram, estamos en las redes sociales, so es muy fácil comunicarse con nosotros.
Pues muchísimas gracias, Judy, por estar con nosotros hoy. Thank you so much, Judith, for being with us today and all that great information.
Muchas gracias a ustedes por tenernos aquí y un honor.
Gracias, gracias. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Okay, folks, we're on our number 4 opportunity for today's Vote-A-Thon to have you engage with us in some way. We've done 3 opportunities throughout the forum. Every time you have participated in one of those, you were entered into a drawing to receive $50. And so a total of 200, now 4 opportunities are available to be entered into, in addition to the social media, which will be the next promo we do. And you'll have opportunities to win $25 gift cards for each of our social media platforms. And I'll explain that in the next session. The one we're doing today is the survey of our forum. When the forum ends today, we'd like to know what was really useful for you and what we could do better. Because in essence, we're doing this to support your information needs and your ability to vote, to understand everything about voting and answer your last minute questions. And so we'd like you to fill out the forum survey. You'll see a slide appear shortly here on the camera, and it'll share a link and it'll share a QR code. And I've been sharing all day how to use a QR code because the first time I did it, I was really confused. So what you do is there's a little box that appears with a bunch of squiggly designs on it. You take your camera and you put it over the QR code. You wait a little bit. It pops up a little yellow oval hotspot that if you click, it'll take you to the survey, or you can click on the link. The staff right now, I'm going to ask them to put up the former surveys in case you missed them. The first one was the post-pandemic survey. We want to know what your dreams and needs are as we make plans for SOC for the next couple of years. So we'll put the title post-pandemic survey in the comments. It'll have a link and the QR code for you to do that survey. None of these surveys take more than 5 minutes, so it's really a good use of your time, especially in light of being able to potentially win some cash to meet your family's needs or to have extra holiday spending money. And then the next one I'm going to ask the staff to put up again is the 30 plus 2 with you campaign link and QR code. And those of you who are willing to be an ambassador for your block, we ask you to fill out that survey. That means you're going to be handing out information and resources to your neighbors. You're willing to organize a cleanup on your block once a year, and you'll be listening to what your neighbors' needs are, and you can communicate that with us. We'll be meeting once a month virtually. We'll be meeting once a quarter in person and or virtually for some of those people who are homebound. And then the former one we shared, the third one, was if you're interested in joining us to form a monthly group that addresses issues in the community. We literally get together and talk about a topic and say, what do you think the real problems are? We've done COVID in the past. We've done affordable housing crisis. We've done hate crimes. We've done relationships relations with the police department. And so you'll come together and say, this is what we think the problems are with these issues. These are some of the solutions. And then we share some data on the issue and some information from subject matter experts. And then you consider that while you finalize your plans. And then we decide what actions we take. Sometimes it's just sending recommendations to a certain body. Other times it's really digging in and making sure that the solutions are listened to and implemented by whatever officials are in charge of that. And so this one is the forum survey. And so I'll ask now for the slide for the forum survey to come up. You'll see the link, the QR code, and you can fill it out. Make sure you do all of these by the end of the day in order to be entered into the drawing. And then tomorrow, we'll post the winners on Facebook Live. Cool. Okay, folks, we're back with you. We had some technical difficulties. Usually when we do the Vote-A-Thon, the first run, we have to work out the kinks. So thank you for being patient with us. Let me say some hellos to folks who said they were with us. If you're with us, drop us a line in the comments so we can say hello. Hola, Yolanda from Riverworks, another nonprofit organization on the east side. They've joined us this morning. Hola, Maria de Jesus Martinez Salinas, who asked about what could happen, that she has a daughter. Let me read the message. She has a daughter with disabilities, and she is of age, and can she come with her to vote because she can't leave her alone? She said she ordered her ballot to vote absentee, but it didn't get here. And so the answer is, yes, you can go to certain sites, and when you get there, you can call them so that they can come and get your ticket from curbside so you don't have to leave your car. So that was the answer to that. And then, one of our favorite partners is with us today. Hola, Alas. Great group of folks. We just did a strategic action center session with them. Alas is saying las personas, people with disabilities can vote if they're eligible. They can be accompanied by their guardians. Thank you, Alas, for that specific information. Folks, the last interview we did came up bilingual because formally in our forum, we had a dual live speak interpretation, but today we have simultaneous interpretation for most of the program, or for all of the program. Miranda, shout out to our interpreter again, is on the line with our Spanish-speaking neighbors, interpreting all that we have in English into Spanish. But that last interview was recorded dual language, and that's a good thing for you all to see what that sounds and looks like. As we close this segment of the Vote-A-Thon, we hope that we can encourage your action in two ways. The first, of course, is your vote is your voice. So vote today and stay engaged with your vote all year round. Pay attention to your elected officials, like my grandfather used to say, pon un ojo, watch, to make sure that they're fulfilling what they promised and doing the work you expected them to do, and being transparent and accountable and accessible. And then the other is all of those opportunities that I shared with you on how you can get engaged with us and earn opportunities to be in a drawing for lots of cash that we have. Today's a critical democracy day, where you vote for the people who are going to represent you. So let's make sure that we do all that we can to vote today. And we'll be back with you in just a little bit at 10 at the start of the next hour and a little bit of the Vote-A-Thon. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Has this live forum been informative and useful to you? What part of the forum could be improved or changed to make it better? Please take our quick survey that's located in our comments section so that we can get your feedback on how to keep this live forum going for residents. Thanks for tuning in.